Go girl.
I'm Erin Pettengill, and me and my family are full-time missionaries in Honduras. A couple of years ago, after Sri Lanka, the tsunami there, when Mission to the World was involved with that, my family became involved in disaster relief, and both my husband and I went through the training so we would be prepared to go, especially from Honduras, where you have lots of hurricanes and other disasters that frequent that area. So after the earthquake in Haiti, we called Mission to the World and asked them if we could be involved, and Christina got me involved with the first team that came down here. Our first group was involved mostly in the hospital environment. We spent a couple days out in the clinic out in the village, and after that we went directly to the hospital. The hospital was a very unique environment. A lot of things you saw on TV were very indicative of what we saw there. A lot of injuries, fractures, amputations, things like that. We worked together as a team, the physicians and the nurses that were there. One of the biggest frustrations we found is we lost a number of babies and adults during that week. A lot of it was basically because we didn't have equipment that was available that we would normally find in the United States in the hospital. So that was kind of frustrating and very upsetting. Specifically, one young child who was supposed to be going home and ended up choking on his formula, basically, and ended up dying after we worked on him for quite some time. And the grieving of the father was pretty intense, as you can imagine, especially having survived the earthquake, survived the loss of other family members, to have lost his child that was going to go home that day. It was pretty incredible and kind of overwhelming at that point. Another unique, interesting event that happened is the physicians were all out one morning doing a morning devotional, which was fantastic, but that found myself alone with about 50 ICU patients, and the next thing I knew, I had a mom come in. She was in active labor and pretty much bearing down, ready to give birth. So I managed to scoot her outside, place her down on a mat, and the next thing we know, we had a baby. Was born, and I was by myself and trying to get it done, and managed to until a doctor showed up after the baby had been born, and so we were able to facilitate that. So that was really encouraging. It actually happened on the same day that we had lost that other baby. So in the span of about 12 hours, we lost a child, but a new one was brought into the world. So interesting and unique experiences that were there. Very challenging, as I said. Just with the minimal resources, the minimal narcotics that we had available to us that we could give people who were in a lot of pain. Very overwhelming, very heartbreaking, and yet a unique opportunity to bring Christ to them. We prayed with many of people that were there. We had interpreters available to us. There was enough people that spoke English as well, and a few people who spoke Spanish I was able to communicate with. Our second team came. We had a fantastic time waiting for them, a couple days off, actually, as they were delayed coming into the country, which was good for us in some respect. Dan and I had an opportunity to just take a break, which was much needed after our hardship of that last week. The team arrived, ready to go, and we started clinic out in a refugee camp that next day, and we pretty much dove in and got to work. Great mix-up of folks, nurses, counselors, all around Joe's, and some physicians. We were able to see about 500 folks that week, and had the unique opportunity to do some one-on-one prayers. We had a couple of prayers to come to Christ as their Savior, which was an incredible opportunity to share that time with them and hear their stories. All in all, it was very difficult and yet very rewarding. Really felt that the opportunity that God led us here was an opportunity for all of us. And as many mission trips, you go with a heart to serve people, and you find yourself being served and met by their heartbreaks and their trials, and that really blesses you. So it's an amazing opportunity, and yet you get blessed and you feel those blessings in return. So you go with one idea and you end up coming out with a whole other idea. So it's a great ministry, it's a fantastic opportunity, and I feel that we really have an opportunity to share in this unique situation with them. And that's about it. And as we're sitting here waiting in the airport for our return trip home. Bittersweet. It's time to go, but there's a lot of memories that I'll leave behind, and Haiti will be a big part of my life.